Hello friends, today we're going to be talking about how to build a commission-based sales team. Have you ever wondered if your sales team is performing at its best? Does the structure of your team and pay set them up for optimal performance? Well, today I'm going to be diving into the ins and outs of setting up a commission-based sales team and how this can take your sales to new heights. Now, I've owned and operated commission-based sales team for the last 20 years. And in that time, I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I can say with certainty, understanding how to set up a commission-based sales team is worth its weight in gold. So today we're gonna dive into all things commission-based sales. Like, what does that mean? What type of reps to look for? What structure is best, and even diving into that structure at a macro and micro level. If you're ready, let's go. So first off, what is a commission-based sales team? Simply put, it's a team of sales reps that desire to be paid a commission. Their desire to potentially make more than they would on an hourly rate or a salary rate based on their skill set, or their desire to be rewarded based on how they perform at work. And there's different types of commission-based sales teams, right? You have those that have a base plus commission. You have those that are strictly commission, but might have a guaranteed minimum associated with it. Or I know there's some groups that have done strictly commission only. I will talk about that just to help you understand some of the intricacies that can happen with just commission only. Now, most sales laws require that if you have somebody work for you, that you at least pay them a minimum wage. Meaning, if you have somebody set up on a commission only pay structure, and let's say they go all throughout the sales period and don't get any sales, and you don't pay them, you could run the risk of being in trouble. Most state laws and federal laws require that if somebody's working for you, if they're employed by you and they don't get any sales, that you need to pay them. Now, if you have people working on a 1099 as an independent contractor, that can be a different ballgame. And I'm not gonna profess to know everything about all the laws associated with that. I just ask you to do your due diligence when it comes to that. Because I've seen it before in the history of people that I've worked with, where there was a group and they had people employed by them and they were commission only. There's people that every single week worked for them. Most people would get sales, but a handful that didn't. Pretty soon the labor board came in, they looked at everything that was happening and said, you haven't been paying these people that haven't been getting any sales. Now, the organization wasn't trying to do anything shady or misrepresent anything. They just truly felt that if somebody didn't get a sale, they didn't have to pay them anything because there's no commission owed. And they were a young organization just getting started, but the labor board saw it way differently and said, listen, all these people that have been working for you over this period of time, you need to pay. So here's what you owe them. It was close to $250,000 in fines that this company received. Now, like I said, nothing malicious was there. They weren't trying to do it the wrong way. They just didn't know. So if you are paying commission only, make sure you understand what needs to happen from a state and federal regulation to make sure that you're not getting in trouble. Now, why would somebody want to be commission-based? Why would a rep say, you know what, I'm willing to forego maybe a base or a salary and I want to be commissioned? Well, hopefully that tells you the type of person you're looking for. Most times sales reps, they believe because of their skill set and because of the performance and the time, energy, and effort that they put into their job, that they will be rewarded greater because of those skill sets than just an hourly or a base or a salary could pay them. And usually these individuals are highly competitive. They love working in an environment where there's competition, where they look across the way and see that this sales rep's doing this or this sales rep is doing that, and they want to keep pace with that. And so having a competitive, energetic place really creates an environment for these individuals to thrive. They also love an energy that drives them to perform. There's trainings, there's speakers that come in. They're trying to improve their craft. And if you can provide that type of environment that they can thrive and grow and learn, you're gonna see great things happen. And it also fosters an environment of fun. Most commission-based sales reps that I know like to have a little bit of fun as well. Ultimately, they enter the field of commission-based sales because they feel like it can provide them a lifestyle that some other alternative could not, whether it's base, salary, or hourly. A commission-based sales gives them the opportunity to really thrive and make a good amount of money. Now let's talk about the outcome that you want. If you are a business owner or if you oversee a team, let's talk about the outcome that you want. One of the most important aspects of building a commission-based sales team is understanding the desired outcome. First, let's look at the metrics that'll push sales reps. And we all know sales reps typically only like metrics that they have control over. And some of them might say, well, I don't have control over this, or I don't have control over that. But we all know deep down, a good sales rep has control over a lot more things than they actually realize. For example, I know sometimes there's sales reps that when they get a sale, if that sale cancels sometime down the road, they would say, I had nothing to do with that. That's not my fault. But we all know that there's sales reps who get sales who have a very low cancellation rate. And there's sales reps we know that maybe are a little bit more aggressive. They have a much higher cancellation rate. So actually, do they have an effect whether a customer cancels or not? Absolutely they do. And sometimes rewarding that, like a low cancellation rate, can get the desired outcome that you want. Another important aspect of desired outcome is understanding how you compensate them. In businesses I've been a part of, when a sale happens, there's a portion of the sale that might be financed and a portion of the sale that is cash. For us, or for some businesses, finance might take a while to come in, and it might not be the most desirable form of revenue you want within your company, right? Cash might be king. If you compensate a sales rep more, you pay them a higher commission for a cash sale and less on a finance sale, you're probably gonna get the outcome that you want. If your outcome is you want more cash sales and you reward them higher based on a cash sale versus a finance sale, you're absolutely gonna see your cash sales start to raise. But if you pay them the same, a lot of times a sales rep's gonna go the path of least resistance and just sell what's ever easier. And if they're talking to a client and say, listen, we can finance this for you, that's much easier than saying, listen, let's find out how you can pay for this program. We wanna make sure that it's a win for you, but being able to afford it is vitally important for you and for us. Now let's talk really quick structure to macro level. I remember the first sales floor I was a part of. I remember being in a room where we were divided by plywood into cubicles, and it was kind of crazy. Everybody got leads and everybody just did their own thing. There was no structure, no element. And although we had times where we performed really well, having a proper structure is really what's gonna take the team to the next level. When setting up a commission-based sales structure, this is what I've seen works really well. You have a team leader or a manager over a team. And in our organization, underneath that team, you have sales reps. We found the optimal number is probably 6 to 8 sales reps underneath the team leader. Now, if it's a dynamic team leader, you could have 10, 12 sales representatives under that individual. And typically, above a team leader, you've got maybe a division manager or maybe your overall sales manager, right? But having that structure adds credibility because the team leader is responsible to train those individuals and also responsible for the metrics associated with his team. And finally, at a micro level, I'm gonna give you a story that really worked well for us. For a long time, there were people that were saying, man, there's really no opportunity to grow within the organization. I eventually wanna be a team leader, but it seems like we're maxed out on team leaders. Is my final position here in this organization just as a basic sales rep? I wanna grow, I wanna thrive with the company. So we instituted something that was kind of interesting at a very micro level. We had a team leader, and underneath that team leader, we had assistant team leaders. And under those assistant team leaders, we had sales representatives, typically 2 or 3. Now, if you have the right structure there, you could potentially have a team of 15, 16 individuals with 4 or 5 assistant team leaders. Assistant team leaders were responsible to train and help those people that were under them to thrive and improve. If you saw an assistant team leader that was helping their team thrive or their unit thrive more than others, guess what? That became probably the next team leader within your organization. So with that micro level structure, we're able to not only determine success, but who are the potential leaders next within your organization. You know, this structure, setting it up this way, commission-based sales is something I've done for a long time, but honestly, I realize I don't know everything. I would love to hear your feedback. What have you done? How have you set up your commission-based sales team? And for any industry, I'd be interested in the real estate agent world or other industries, so please give me your feedback. Also, I've got a free gift for you. I've got a 12-part series called Persuasion and Influence. This will help elevate your game when it comes to sales and sales training. It's a 12-part series. Each part is usually $100, but I'm giving it away for free. Just click on the link below, aaronsSalesTraining.com. Have a great day. Thank you.